Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Tutorials for Teachers. Today's resource that we're going to talk about is Smore. This is a great tool to send out newsletters to students, parents, and other faculty members. If that sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and hop into it.
When you log on, this is the page that'll come up. It's a little bit busy, so I'm just going to go through some of the features and tabs on this page so that you don't get overwhelmed, because it does look like a lot is going on with everything on this page. If we start up at the top, these are some templates that you can choose from to start your newsletters. Remote learning is pretty cool. They have this new thing that's called Field Trip. It's not really what Smore is used for. Smore is for newsletters, but this is a cool feature. It's basically a DVR for live classes, so your students can pause, rewind, come back to live classes, and it's a really cool feature. You might have to upgrade and pay for this, but if that sounds really interesting, you can try that out and see how that goes. But it seems really cool from what I've seen. This is just some pricing for upgrading. I'll get into some of the limitations in a minute, but a lot of times you can get a license for your school or district, as you see here, and have the whole school be able to have access to a Smore and to the upgraded versions. Then this is just a help center for if you have any questions, but I'm going to get into most of the questions you'll have in this tutorial. Next, you can start a newsletter by clicking up here or down here. Either one works, but this is how you start yours. And then this is just some profile information. You don't really need to click on too many of this stuff, because all the stuff you would click is down here. Next, if you look here, this is the biggest limitation of the free version. As you can see, I have one newsletter left. In the free version, you get 3 newsletters to create. This is kind of a limitation, but there's ways around it. The way that I would get around it is by creating a newsletter for each topic or for each class that you need one for. So let's say that you want one for, like I have down here, Algebra 2. There's an extracurricular one that you want, and then one other thing. And the way that I would do it is create a newsletter for that class and then just add to it as there's more information, instead of creating a new newsletter every time you want to send one out. So I would just keep adding to the same newsletter to get more information out there without having to pay for the upgraded version. That's how I would get around it. That's how I plan to get around it when I make 3 of them. But that's the biggest limitation for the free version. Next, if you come down to the side, these are badges, some of achievements. As you use Smore more, you can get some of these achievements, and they'll show up here, which are kind of fun to see show up. As you can see, I'm not very good at Smore yet. So when you want to start a newsletter, you can click here and start a newsletter. And then it'll give you some options for templates, as far as weekly updates, class events. If you want to start a business, they have templates for that, or you can start from scratch. Instead of starting one, I'm just going to go ahead and edit one of the ones that I've been using to learn Smore a little bit better. And you can also use some of these templates that they have here. If you don't like any of these 3, you can click on more templates, and it'll show you all of the templates that Smore has that you can choose from just to start out. So if we go here, I'm going to edit it. So this is the way that I get around the 3 options. I just keep editing whenever I need to get more information out there. So let's edit it. And then let's just start about with the design and with the theme of this before we get into actually putting content into your newsletter. So if you want to change the design, I call it a theme, you can come over here. These are the main designs that you can choose from. There's handwritten, minimal, vintage, and you can change all of these. Let's say that our theme is vintage. Then we can change the background. And these backgrounds go with the design that you choose. So I chose a modern design, then the backgrounds would go along with that theme, with that design. So I can change the background of the newsletter. And then I can also change colors. As you can see, it's changing over to the left. And then I can also change fonts for my newsletter and pick from different ones. As you have more stuff down here, so I have some text right here. it should fit the theme. So as I change those text down there, as well as the title will change to fit the theme or font that I pick. So that's kind of how you change the theme, the design, the look of your newsletter before you get into all the content. I personally choose handwritten a lot of the time just because it kind of fits a school vibe. It has that feeling of school and school newsletter. But if you're not using it for school or for students or parents for school, then you can obviously choose whatever design you want, no matter what. Now we can get into how do you create the newsletter itself, the information that you want to get to the people you're sending it out to. So if we go here, you can see that I have an addition sign above and below this tab. And this is a gallery tab, which I'll get into all the different tabs that you can have. But this allows you to have multiple different information sliding across the screen as they click through the arrows. So this would be good for like announcements, just brief announcements that they can scroll through and see, kind of like an advertisement thing would shuffle through. You can have that here and just have them shuffle through some announcements or information there. So if I hit the addition sign above, the content that I choose is going to be placed above this tab. And if I choose below, obviously it'll get placed below the tab. And then I can also choose this one. So let's just put it in between this gallery tab and the text tab that I have down here that is complete nonsense. So when you click the addition sign, these are the options you're going to have. You can choose from text, a title, pictures, and this is what the gallery is this up here. You can choose events and audios and videos. I want to show you a little bit of what these two last ones are, just because they are take a little bit more to do them. As far as the other ones, they're pretty self-explanatory. If we click event, then I can choose a location, a little bit about it, name it, and then choose a date and time, just like you would for any other calendar event. And then the audio and video is pretty simple. You just put in that from your computer. The button, however, I think is a really cool feature. So if you want to send a newsletter out to your students weekly and have maybe a homework assignment, you can create a button called homework where you link a Google Doc or some online homework for them and link that here, and then they can just click the button that says homework and get to their homework that way. And then you can choose some details, and you can also have the link open in a new window just so they don't have to keep going back after they click the button. And then when you're done, you just hit done and it'll add it in between these. I don't have a link to put in right now, so that's why I'm not going to do it, to show you where it's at. Finally, you can embed a link. And so if you have a YouTube video, this video option is kind of more it does have a URL. So like the YouTube or a Vimeo, but then you can also do that for this. This is going to be more for a web page. So let's say you want to share a Google Doc in your newsletter. Instead of just putting the link in and taking them to the Google Doc, you can embed the Google Doc within your newsletter, and then they can scroll and look at the information on that doc without going to another web page. And so if you put in a URL or a link, then it'll embed that into your newsletter and let you do that. If you have some more options down here for adding stuff to your newsletter, the only ones that are different are this bio and form. Files is a upgrade or a pro version, so I can't really show you how to do that, but that's just inserting a file from your computer. A form is a link to like a Google Forms or whatever this one's called. I don't know how to pronounce that. But you can put in a Google form this way and it'll embed the form in your newsletter. This is just a bio like you would have on a social media account, just to let people know a little bit more about you, or let them know a little bit more about an assistant that you have or a teacher that you want to show. You can have this here. That's basically it as far as creating what goes in your newsletter. So if you want to change the look and the design, the theme, you can go over here to the right. And then when you want to actually put in content, then you can do that here by adding the addition signs and putting it where you want it. So you can put it in between these two. You can put it at the end if you click add more here. So that's how you create your newsletter. That's how you make it change the look of it. And then when you're done, you can hit publish changes. If you're doing it for the first time in creating it, then it won't say publish changes. It'll say, I think it'll just say publish because you weren't making changes. You were creating it from brand new. But basically when you're done, you need to click this button actually to publish it and make it officially live and public. As you can see, it says saved just now. So it's going to save as you add things. It'll save automatically. You don't really need to worry about that. And then if you want to edit it, but you're not ready to publish it yet, all you have to do is cancel out of the tab and then you're done. You can come back to it and all of that will still be there. So if you just want to do a little bit at a time, come back and do the rest later, just don't hit publish and it won't share it. It won't make it that. It'll keep it as a draft. But when you're done, you can hit publish changes or publish if it's from scratch. And then this is how you can share your newsletter with other people. You can send it in an email or a group listing. You can share it on some social media platforms. And then you can also copy or embed link. So this is a URL link if you just want people to have the link to get here. And then this is the embed code that you can put it into a website or a blog, and they can just see it embedded into another website or a blog. So those are the different links that you can get in code. And then look, you can always edit your newsletter again, and you can print or download a PDF. So if you just want to download a PDF to your computer and maybe share it another time, you can always do that here. Then this is just a little bit about people visiting your newsletter. And then this is how you change some of the privacy settings and some of the stuff for your newsletter when you're sharing it with other people. But that's basically it. Those are all the features, all of the how-tos of Smore.
And that's basically it for this video. If you enjoyed this or thought it was informative, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, just leave those below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.